Bonjour les copains et les copines.
I don't know if you can see it, but it's actually raining right now very heavily in Paris. You can also see... Yes! So, that's my friend. What's your name?
Layla.
And... So here's the problem with Layla. Layla, how old are you?
7 ans. 7 ans.
She doesn't speak English if you didn't understand that. But in English, how old are you?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 10.
So the reason she said all those numbers is because I taught her all the numbers, but she's actually 7 years old. Correct? Layla wants to do a video on slime. The problem here is she only knows French and I only know English. But here's the cool thing. She's actually teaching me French right now. That's so far away. So Layla doesn't know that I'm actually making a video about part-time jobs. So she's actually just going to show you this amazing slime she made. Just let's pretend that the video is about her, but I'm going to still talk on the side.
Quoi?
Qu'est-ce que tu fais?
Ben, je parle bien.
Before we move into the video, I would actually like you to like and subscribe this video. I know a lot of you are watching this. Subscribe because I have a new partner to make videos, so we're going to come out with more videos. Like it if this video actually helps you, and I hope the last video was very helpful to you.
Bonjour les copains et les copines. Aujourd'hui j'ai 7 ans moi et en fait je m'appelle Layla. Je vais au CP, je vais passer au CE1 parce que j'ai fait mes contrats. Et en fait aujourd'hui on va faire une vidéo de malade, ça va faire très mal pour moi. Parce qu'en fait on va faire une vidéo de comment dire, de classique quoi. On fait comme ça, on fait le grand écart et tout ça, mais ça va faire très mal. Ça va faire très mal. Regardez aujourd'hui. C'est pour ça que je peux pas le faire dehors, sinon je le faisais dehors. Hein. Je suis désolée mais je peux pas le dehors. D'accord? Et donc comme d'habitude, je fais une vidéo comme ça. Mais ça va être très malade parce que genre mal pour faire crac. Tout ça, mais méchant vraiment. Mais ma tête est méchante. Mais ça va être mort de rire.
This is how you get hijacked by a little girl. But anyways, for the first time in my life, I actually got a part-time job and I get to work with her.
Désolée les copains et les copines.
Okay, but before I go away, she's gonna take it away.
Comme je le disais.
But just one last thing. Today's video is gonna be about part-time jobs. She's one of the coolest girls.
Laisse-moi parler.
Français. Okay.
Désolée les copains et les copines, ça c'était un mort de rire.
So I don't know if you can see the sun. Oh, you technically can't see the sun, but there's a lot of light right now in Paris. The most mind-blowing fact is it's like 9:30 in the night right now. On another note, I'm very sorry to cut you off from Layla's broadcasting, but I have many interesting stories that have come to me through reflection with my time or during my time with Layla. So my first reflection with Layla is back when I first came to Paris for the first time in 2014, right? My grandfather did, and this is where you have to always listen to your elders. My grandfather and my mother suggested that I need to go and learn French. Considering France is a French country, you might need to speak French. Me being the boy I was, I told them, that's okay, everyone speaks English, I'm gonna be fine with English. But now this is actually what happened, and my granddad said, hey, irrespective whether you speak French or not, don't worry. All you require is the art of communication. And I said, Granddad, how can I use the art of communication? First of all, Granddad, what do you mean by the art of communication? He said something which stuck with me and which has taken me a long way in my life. He said, when a 3-year-old speaks to you, do you understand? And I said, yeah, Granddad, obviously. If he or she knows how to speak, I will definitely understand. So he said that's what you need to learn from the kids or from babies or from 3-year-olds. They can speak, they can communicate without using the fanciest languages. How does this relate to Layla? Well, Layla is 7 years old, and I can assure you that I've learned one of the most French in the shortest period of time from her. Basic, simple French, basic, simple communication. And that is why I love Layla. Layla is a friend. More than a friend, she's a little sister. More than a little sister, she's a teacher to me. On another cool note, actually it's much easier to learn French or it's much easier for you to practice your French with little children or the elderly. When they speak in French, they actually give you the time, listen to you. It's easier to understand their French. But the question you must be wondering is, after 4 years of living in France, why haven't I learned French, right? Well, I did not listen to my parents or my grandparents at that time, but that one reflection, that one story, one example, one teaching lesson which my grandfather taught me took me way out, took me further in life, and has given me the biggest opportunities life has to provide. What do I mean by that? Well, I was very cocky and I didn't listen to my parents, so I eventually came to this country without learning a word of French. But here's the first day I realized how important French was. I needed to catch the bus to go to the metro station, and as soon as I got into the bus, I realized that I didn't know the word for ticket. Like, can I have one ticket? Just in case you're wondering, it's one billet. Just imagine bill, just add an ET and it's billet, but just say billet. Can I have one billet, please? Or one billet, s'il vous plaît. I had to write it down because I didn't have internet on my phone to Google Translate at the bus. So I did it at home, wrote it down, went to the bus stop and showed it to him. It did not end there. The second part, what I had to see that day was when I met a new girl from India. She was vegetarian. She was a classmate of mine and she actually wanted to go and pick up some lunch. As an Indian, and this is the most common Indian experience, you have friends who are vegetarian. So I said, hey, why not? Since we both are alone, let's go and get some lunch together. We walked into the closest cafe, and when you walk into these cafes, you think they're going to speak English to you. We sat down, opened the menu, and we figured out there's no vegetarian section there. So the next thing we call the waiter, waitress, and say, hey, do you have some vegetarian? And these people went like, como, 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 como. And it was very hard to communicate to them, but in the end, this is what happened. We had to leave the restaurant because they did not understand what we wanted, and we could not get any vegetarian food. So what she had to do is she walked into the supermarket, picked up a banana, and went to class. That is the day I realized French was important. And this is what brings us to today's video about part-time jobs. Many of you had a lot of questions like, is there part-time jobs? Well, there are part-time jobs. Is it easy to find one? We get into that in a bit of time. Do you need French? Well, the answer is yes. And how does it work? Is there enough money? Is there enough? Will they pay you enough to survive and sustain in society? One of the reasons it took me 4 years to find a part-time job is because the first 3 years I do remember applying for one, and I can assure you I haven't applied to as much as my friends have. And my friends who I live with, they have applied. I know I'm going to introduce you to one of my friends who's the first person I met here who got a part-time job. He's from Delhi. The first day I landed here, the first time I met him, we went for a cricket match. So here people play cricket very regularly on the weekends in huge parks. They have clubs, they have teams. You can meet up with people and play them. You can do whatever you want. But here's when I actually met him, and that is the first time we had this conversation. We both came into this country 4 years back, and I asked him about part-time jobs, and he's done every kind of part-time job possible in the last 4 years. So that we can get more information from him, I'm actually going to pull him in the next vlog. But till then, I'm going to give you all the information you need. 4 years in this country, and I never got a part-time job till a month back. Why? Because the reason is French. Yes, French is necessary. French is necessary just for the fact, yes, there are a lot of part-time jobs available here just as much as anywhere else. But here's what actually happened. When I first came here, I actually thought part-time jobs were very tough to get. Now, one of the reasons why I thought part-time jobs was very tough to get is just because it's the job market. The job market is horrible in a lot of places. What I did not know or what I did not understand then was how powerful the job market is here or how powerful the part-time job market is here. So the first few days, the first few times, this was the mentality. The first few years, the mentality was there's not enough part-time jobs, and anyways, I'm not going to get it because the excuse I told myself is that I don't know French. So I never went out, never got a part-time job. But it is true, you do need a part-time job because here's the benefits if you know French. Let me rephrase it. This is how the part-time job structure works. If you're a student coming to France, you're only eligible to work 1,000 hours in a year. Now, there's three ways of doing it. The first two ways is legally, and the third way is illegally. The first way is through a contract called the CDD. Now, this is a part-time contract. It's a definite contract. That means it can be for 1 month, it can be for 2 months, it can be for 3 months. Once you get this contract, it actually specifies how much money you get. So you get the minimum wage, which is around, I think, 700 to 800 euros, which is the minimum, the CD. If you ever receive a CDD, that's the minimum amount you're supposed to get paid. Then you have the CDI contract, which is the indefinite contract. Now, this is the most powerful contract, and most people die for this contract, like literally. Why? Have you actually ever heard of a work contract where once you sign the contract, the employer can never kick you out? Well, in France, you have the CDI contract, which gives you indefinite, indefinite employment. That means the employer cannot kick you out of the company till you decide you want to leave. Really? Like, which other country gives so much power to the employees? Let's take it one more level. Once you get a CDI, you can work there as long as you want, and you have to get paid a minimum of 1,500. For CDD, the difference between a CDD and CDI is a CDD is a temporary contract, a CDI is a permanent contract. CDD has a minimum. I have a friend who's actually working who's got a CDD for 3 months and has got 1.5k salary. Now, he just arrived in Jan, he got his first job in March, and this is the only guy I've ever met in my life who speaks English, doesn't know French, came here in 3 months and received a CDD and a well-paying part-time job, 1,500 euros a month. Some things you need to know: when you're in a part-time job, you only have to work, I think, 7 hours per day. You're not supposed to work more than 5 days per week. It is mandatory for you to get 2 days of holiday. We have the CDD and then we have the CDI, correct? Now, for both of these two things, it is very tough for us international students to get these two contracts unless you know French. Now, you tell me if all of this is possible. If you do get a CDD or CDI, with that money, can you cover your expenses? I truly believe I can. Now, initially, because I did not have French, I thought it was very hard to find a part-time job. But then when I started going for French classes, and I had a lot of foreigners, international students in my particular batch, all of them had a part-time job. So the question was, how was it they found part-time jobs, and why was it difficult for me to find a part-time job? So one of the reasons is yes, or at least my mentality before was that there was not enough part-time jobs, so I couldn't find one. But then after meeting them, I realized there are enough part-time jobs, maybe I should go out there. Now, once I went out there, I realized I needed French, and if you have French, you can get one of these two contracts. Here's what happens if you don't know French, right? If you don't know French, you are going to go up to like double the number of restaurants, number of bars, pubs, whatever you want, souvenir shops, babysitting, you can name it, whatever you want. And you're going to go to double more than them. You're going to search for them. You're going to get rejected by more than, like, I don't know how many. But if you don't know French, it's very hard to find a part-time job, 1. 2, if you don't know French, you get proposed illegal part-time jobs or part-time jobs which do not have a contract. And now, if you don't have a contract, you get paid less than the part-time job rate, less than the legal obligatory part-time job rate. Now, again, another bonus for you, part-time job rates, the per hour you get paid, sorry about that, is one of the highest in the world. Australia tops the list, and then comes, like, in the top 10, France comes. Forget any other countries. Like, this country comes top 10. That means if you just had a part-time job for 7 days a week, let's say, and you get 1,500, That's more than enough to sustain yourself for, let's say, more than a month. Internship, the minimum internship salary here is 500. Most companies pay you 500. But if you get a part-time job for 1,500, you're already minting money, correct? But this is what, when everyone asks me, is there part-time jobs? I say yes. Is there enough? I'm not sure. Again, it depends on our ability to go find one or search for one and or get one. But the next question which all of you ask me is French mandatory, and I say, hey, listen, without French, you're not going to get the legal paying per hour pay, or you're not going to get the legal per hour pay. You're not going to have a contract, so technically the employer can kick you out anytime. And 3, there's no fixed timings or no benefits associated with it, so technically the employer can take you for a ride. A lot of my friends, most of my friends, genuinely most of my friends have joined part-time jobs where they do not have a contract, get paid less hours, work the whole day, and finally lose the objective of why they come here. Because once you get paid for your day, all you want to think about is going home, watching Netflix, probably drink a beer, talk to your friends, go to sleep, and again go back to work the next day. Work is tiring. Work gives you money. But you know, the way I see it is most people lose focus and go into this constant, or go into this cycle where they did part-time jobs to sustain, and finally part-time job becomes their life rather than the school life. I know loads of people who have dropped out from their school just to pursue their part-time job in full. Now my question is, my question is, if they spent all that time and money instead of blaming French, and most of them, if you could ask them why do they have an illegal part-time job, they say, hey, I didn't learn French. But if you spent at least 1/10 of that time and money, if you had invested on learning French, in the long term, it would be easier for you to find a contract job, a CDD and CDI, get good pay, get holidays, and enjoy your life. So the question is, why wouldn't any of you learn French? Why won't you learn any of you learn French? For 3 months to learn French in Alliance Française, it cost me 8,000. That was more than enough for me to come here and integrate with society, and this is the second time I came to France. That was a better investment rather than coming here, finding out that you're going to be helpless, going and trying to find French classes, which is going to be an additional burden on you, financially and time-wise. I have to spend that much money. I have to wake up early, go to class, and then later hopefully go to my other class, and then hopefully go to my part-time job. Now, if I learn French in India, I can avoid that, go to class peacefully, go for my part-time job peacefully, and at the same time be able to get a contract or CDI or a CDD and live my life beautifully. A lot of international people come here just to learn French, and they sustain themselves by using the French they learned at their part-time jobs, and they leave after 3 months. This is just their way of coming and experiencing and integrating with the French society. I hope that's a lot of information. If I missed out, the third way of finding a job is actually the illegal way. But here's my question, right, to all of you. All of you ask me, are there enough part-time jobs? And my question is, why do you need a part-time job? Think about it. Why do you actually need a part-time job? And this is how I reasoned it. This is actually how I reasoned it, that I need a part-time job to make some money which I can sustain myself with, correct? And it's probably the same for you. Now, what if I told you that all of you have been asking me the wrong questions? I believe that asking the right question will give you the right answer. So the right question should be, in my opinion, how much money can a student make in France during his time of studies? Now, you must be thinking, isn't that the same as part-time jobs? No, all of you ask me, are there enough part-time jobs, and do you get paid well with part-time jobs? My question to you, or my question, if I had this opportunity to rephrase this question and ask it again, my question would be, what are the possibilities a student can make money in France, and how much can he make during that point of time? If the question has actually caught your curiosity, and I truly believe that if you ask yourself this question, and if you ask other people who have lived here this particular question, you get more information, more options, and more knowledge. Now, if you would actually like to know what are the other ways a student can make money, rephrase this particular question and comment down below. If I reach at least, for those who comment, I will tell you personally what are the options I used apart from part-time jobs to make money. 2, like this video, 100 likes, and I will actually make another video explaining how you can do this, how you can use this particular other option to make money during your time as a student. Third, I hope you liked today's video. I can assure you there are more videos coming out. I planned it all. Vital information which no one has ever told me, and I figured it out on my own, and I hope it will help you. Fourth, thank you for bearing with Laila. Do give a like for this video. Comment down below something in French for Laila so that she can read it tomorrow when I take it to the office. One of the reasons I did put it here is that I'm going to slowly start putting a little French into my videos so that it's easier for your ears to pick up, it's easier for practice, and you can have a little, let's say, a little warning before you come in. And another news, please do check out the French playlist tracks, which I've actually made a playlist out of for all of you. One of the fastest way I've actually realized how to integrate in society is by talking about music, talking about art, talking about movies. I've actually curated a list of French music, which is actually very popular here, which I love and which you could talk to anyone about, and you could genuinely, like, this is the fastest way to make friends. With that, thank you so much. Another note for all of you who watch my video, I've curated and compiled a list of business schools with their rankings, all the important necessary information and details which I think will help you choose a school. So if you actually want a link to that list, do not hesitate to contact me on Instagram and I will definitely send it to you. Till then, bonsoir, have a good evening, a bientôt, and till next time.